for the purpose of giving to the professor, David Preacher, the honorarium professor position of our institute. Let me say a few words about David, and I feel very comfortable to say a few words because I was with David for many years, and I know what person is David Preacher. We all see in the colloquium how worried he is about making sure we are producing good people. And people that worries about the quality of the people we produce are by themselves good people, right? And then it's a privilege to indicate and already approved by the council of our institute and the university the honorarium title to Professor David Preacher. Okay, let me say a few words about David Edward Preacher. He was born in New York. He completed his undergraduate studies at Caltech and his doctoral degree at Harvard University under the guidance of Professor Daniel Kleppner and Professor Norman Ramsey. Norman Ramsey, just for reference, is the Nobel Prize of 1989 for the methods that allow us to use the atomic clocks today. And one of the characteristics of this group is precision, is a fight for precision and fight for new phenomena in physics. He became a professor of MIT in the physics department in the early 1970s, sorry. Becoming a leader in the area of fundamental atomic physics in that institution. Throughout his career, he coordinated several projects seeking to understand the process of atomic collisions, having idealized several experimental techniques for such investigation. On the 80s, he started new lines of projects aiming at the experimental realization of interferometry with atomic beams, establishing the grounds for the optics with matter waves. He carried out pioneering experiments in demonstrating the diffraction of atoms by light waves. Simultaneously, he began cooling and trapping of atoms and ions. Regarding ion trapping, he idealized the precise measurement aimed to determine mass variation due to the formation of chemical bonds. In the second line of work, he devised several proposals for magnetic and light trapping of neutral atoms. His contribution in this area were fundamental for the final results of the production of the Bose-Einstein condensation in the laboratory. And today, Bose-Einstein condensation is one of the most prominent areas in atomic physics, advancing even condensed matter physics and many-body physics in general. Basically, there is no area of physics that has not been gained knowledge using the Bose-Einstein condensates. With cold atoms, people started the so-called chemistry close to absolute zero of temperature. And this is an area that began mostly with the inputs given by David Preacher, where it made possible the investigation of collisions with cold atoms and the determination of new and exciting phenomena. His pioneering and visionary work would allow many of its students and postdocs to lead advancements of several areas in physics. Despite having been the main mentor of the ideas that lead to the Nobel Prize in Physics to his former students, Eric Cornell, Wolfgang Ketterle, and also Carl Wyman, Himself was not included for his own decision to promote his former students in a noble manner. Furthermore, David Pitcher promotes the areas that awarded the Nobel Prize to research like David Weiland and Sergio Rocha. His works and ideas are widely recognized. Being always concerned with better teaching, David was a seminal person for the introduction of the MOOCs, Massive Open Online Courses, established by MIT and today spread all around the planet. There are several Brazilian researchers, especially in our institute, who have directly or indirectly connection with David Pritchard. First, myself. I was his doctoral student from 83 to 87, performing the first demonstration of magnetic trapping of cold atoms. Then, Tomás Catunda worked in the group performing experiment with Hilbert atoms in the group of Dan Kleppner, but Kleppner and Pritchard always worked together in a single type of group. Finally, Luiz Gustavo Marcassa was a postdoctoral in the group led by Professor Pritchard and also by Professor Wolfgang Ketterle. In addition, several other Brazilian researchers had a close relationship with the group of MIT led by Professor Pritchard. David Pritchard visited our institute many times, and in several occasions, giving lectures, giving mini-courses, and contributing to the training of our own students. On several occasions, he supplied even equipment and parts to make sure that we could go on with our research in Brazil in the bad times of money availability. In recent years, Professor Pritchard was the one who started MIT e-learning. He promptly came to Brazil a few years ago, giving lectures on this subject that today, as I said, is a routine in the world. For all this importance to the world of science and for his special care for the researchers from Brazil and our own institutions is that we have now the honor to have him as a colleague in the position of an honorarius professor of the Institute of Physics of São Carlos from the University of São Paulo. David, I am always your student, and I know that any master wants to be scientifically overcome by his students produce it. But in your case, that's a very hard task. You are more than a Nobel Prize. You are a Nobel Prize maker. And we all congratulate you for your very nice scientific career and being a so nice person to everybody around you. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Chairman and Vanderlei, I've always called you Vanderlei rather than Professor Benyata. It is an honor, indeed, a very great honor to me now, especially as I approach retirement and look back at all the things that I've done or tried to do. But I think, as Vanderlei says, when I look back at it, in one way, it's very satisfying to have managed to start off so many things that have grown scientifically. I mean, atom interferometers now are being used in all kinds of precision tests and measurements of gravity. They're being put in space. They're talking about measuring gravity waves with them. It's really nice to have been a pioneer. But one of the nicest things about being a pioneer is that usually at that point, the experiments are simple and can be done by several people working very hard. And if I look at not just the satisfaction scientifically, but if I look at the real joy of having been a professor so long. I have to say that the real joy is connected with having a small group of people, postdoc, a couple of graduate students, myself, trying to solve some problem, trying to come up with some new idea to explain what it is that we're seeing or observing, or why, most of the time, why we're not seeing what we hope we might discover and what we could do better. I think that it really goes back to when all people were hunter-gatherers, and it's the excitement of the hunt and the satisfaction when it is completed and you get to eat it, to eat what you've gathered or what you've caught. And that really is what has given me the joy, and also that those people who were part of, in Vanderlei's case, I mean, I just remember one time when we had a small leak in our ultra-cold system, and the air got in there and made a whole bunch of frost, so we couldn't shine the laser in order to observe the atoms that we were trying to capture. And so we sat around and we said, gee, we've got this whole thing cold, and we may even have atoms in there, but now our vision is blocked by this ice, which is really from nitrogen in the air. It was frozen nitrogen ice, way in the middle of the apparatus. What can we do? And then we decided, we're going to use our most powerful laser, and we're going to melt the ice away. And we did that, and then the experiment worked. And it's just the fun of sitting there and getting problems and solving the problems and doing it as a group. And then finally, there's the fun or the enjoyment or the reward of seeing people like Vanderlei or Vasant Natarajan, especially, who went to India and started, by the time they were done, institutes, and had a tremendous leverage in generating many more people who were knowledgeable about physics and who could do complicated experiments and make scientific advances. So I really enjoyed doing that stuff, and I enjoyed that I had done it and other people, or we had done it, and other people had profited. But also it's really a human endeavor, and I hope to come back down to the University of Sao Paulo and come out there to San Carlos and sit around and talk, try to invent some questions that we can answer together, and I hope to do that in the near future. So, in conclusion, I thank you very much for this honor, and I'll treasure this experience. Thank you.
Okay, so now the director of our institute is going to symbolic deliver to you the diploma, and I hope it will give you personally in 2 months. And
so Professor Pritchard, just remove this. Now you have to bear with me for a few seconds, and I'm going to read it. And because it's an official document, it's written in Portuguese. So it's written as such. Instituto de Física de São Carlos. A Igreja Congregação do Instituto de Física de São Carlos, da Universidade de São Paulo, tendo em vista a portaria 47/2008 e a decisão proferida em sessão realizada em 20 de fevereiro de 2020, confere a David Edward Pritchard a medalha de honra do Instituto de Física de São Carlos, com a qual o reconhece como professor honorário do IFSC. In a few words, you are now a colleague of ours. You are now a professor from São Carlos Institute of Physics. So thank you very much and congratulations. And I do hope that as soon as you can come here, we shall celebrate in person. So with a good glass of wine. So congratulations and thank you very much. I think I'm showing this. I don't know whether the camera can capture. So that's what's written there. I don't know, it's the first award that you get in Portuguese, but that's how it is, so it's going to be delivered to you somehow. Vanderlei will look after this. So thank you very much and congratulations.
I'm symbolically reaching out here and accepting the degree, and I'm very honored, and I do look forward to coming there. And actually, I should introduce my wife, Andrea, especially now because she's decided to learn Portuguese. Our son has just bought a small place in Lisbon, Portugal. And so maybe when we get there, she will help me from getting lost as she has done so many times before. So I'm looking forward to the two of us coming down and seeing you and sitting and talking to some students. Thank you.
So thank you. I wonder whether you want to say something else?
Yes, so now, David, you are part of our faculty group, and for us it's an honor to have you. And I know how important is a few hours of conversation with you, and we all really desire that in the coming future, you can come in person and give some physics to us and discuss problems that are presently challenging in the physics of the world, and I'm sure that you have many ideas how to do it. Thank you very much, and Professor of the Institute of Physics of São Carlos from the University of São Paulo, Professor David Edward Pritchard. Thank you.
So with this, I declare this session closed. So I thank Professor Pritchard again, and we are looking forward to welcoming you and Mrs. Pritchard as soon as you can. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there I am, an honorary professor. Wow.
I think, I don't know, do you leave or how does this work?